Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing today on September 25th, 2024? We are going to be discussing about Hurricane Helene and how this will impact Florida, but also what it could bring and what it could bring to the states inside the inner states of the United States. That's a lot of states word, but anyway. More information shortly. Give me 1 second here. One of my things just said, nope, we're not running no more. Alright. Alright, I gotta... Alright. Alright. So, there we go. Alright, hey. Good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Let me change this date so we're not getting anything wrong, confused, or anything. There we go. Alright, it is almost the end of September, y'all. Anyway, so I would like to pull the attention over to the main screen, the live Doppler radar, as there is... Anyway, there is a lot of storms, like the outer bands of the hurricane are starting to make landfall now, and that's what it's going to be like from now till about Saturday for Florida. So this is very rare in a lot of occasions, but you see how the pink is all the way up in southwest and south central Georgia. Yeah, that normally does not happen a lot, but the reason why this is so far inland is because, one, the hurricane is going to be hitting the panhandle of Florida, aka the Big Bend of Florida, which means from basically like Panama City, Tallahassee, all the way down to like Tampa or even Cedar Key as well. That's kind of the Big Bend there. Anyway, this hurricane will be making landfall anywhere from a Cat 4 to a lower Cat 5 hurricane. As of right now, the National Weather Service has this storm predicted at 130 mile an hour winds once it makes landfall, and will be a Cat 4 hurricane and has wind gusts up to 160 mile an hour gusts. So just for reference, the gusts, that equals a Category 5 hurricane, as a Category 5 hurricane is 157 mile an hour winds or higher. So, if we go on further here, I will show you here on your main screen here. You could see that as once it gets to this M here, that's when it becomes that major hurricane, which is if it were to be a major hurricane, that means it has to be above a Cat 3. In this case, it definitely is. So, as you guys could see, they had hurricane warnings here, along with tropical storm warnings all the way up towards South Carolina and into almost into North Carolina here. Destin, you are in a you're just outside of this tropical storm warning. You guys will be getting rain, but it's not going to be like strong or severe like the rest of your state is. So, anyway, Pensacola, you guys kind of lucked out on this system here. This system is a very compact system, and I will reference it here on this model here. So you guys can see this is what it's going to look like whenever it makes or starts heading towards the area where it's going to be going into that Cat 4 here. And if you could see here, let's go to the surfaced wind gusts. And you already have 80, 900, 103. And this is not even when it gets to that Cat 4 hurricane yet. That's still a Cat 3 hurricane. So, I mean, you have gusts up to 107 as possible. I mean, watch these winds here. See that rapid intensification rate in here? Yep, that is where you have that strong area of, your intensification. Like your waters. The warm waters that could really start them hurricanes. Anyway, here's your lightning density. Quite a bit of lightning, but not a lot. Alright, we'll go back to the precipitation. Sorry about that. Alright. So, with that being said, storm surges are going to be a big problem with this storm, as storm surges can be anywhere from 15 to 20 feet high. For reference, that can be many miles inland just from water. Feet high of water, in fact. I'm pretty sure some of us remember that Hurricane Katrina was a big impact for Florida, as there was 25 to 28 feet storm surges. Well, Ian didn't have that high. It was like, 12 to 15 or 8 to 12 foot storm surges. Hang on, let me just get you that real quick. Ian storm surges. Images. Okay, so my mistake. 12 to 16. All right. You are stronger than Ian, which was 1 mile per hour. 1 mile per hour below a Cat 5 hurricane. Eventually, they just rated, I believe, a Cat 5 hurricane. Hurricane Ian was, a Category 4, 150 mile per hour sustained winds, which is pretty much 6 below. It did get up into a Cat 5 hurricane at one point at 162 miles per hour. But once again, this exact storm took almost the exact same path as Hurricane this storm is taking almost a very similar path as Hurricane Ian. But besides, we swung out a little bit more left between the little opening here. I don't remember the name of it. Sorry. Anyway, and it swung back out, and we're literally going almost right in the exact same spot as Hurricane Helene is going into. Once again, see, became a hurricane, major, and became a hurricane, and then a storm, which, as you guys could see, it probably wasn't much of a hurricane after it got past Tampa. At one point, it got to a 4, then it got to a 3, and kind of fizzled out. But that's reference. Hurricane Katrina was the record-breaking storm that, for over 150 years of storm surges, which had that 25 to 28 foot storm surge. This one is really close. It's now at 15 to 20, so that's pretty much 5 feet lower of water. Yes, that's a big difference, but with how high these numbers are, it's only 5. So many miles inland will be seeing a lot of flooding with the storm especially. Let's check on satellite here. As you guys can see, we have the eye identified. You can see that nice lower level low pressure system sitting right there where that gap is. That is your eye of the hurricane, aka the eye of the storm. That's where the low pressure is. Them can be anywhere from 10 to 50 miles wide sometimes. You never know. But typically they stay around 10. As I go, feel free to do any comments in the comment section. I do not have my chat open, but I will do that as of right now. I believe I got my chat open. I hear myself. I don't like it. All right, there we go. All right, as I go, feel free to chat. Chat any questions you may have, or something you want to see, or anything. Anyway, rainfall totals. So this will be pretty impactful too, as if you have that 15 to 20 foot storm surge, but you also have anywhere from 8 to even 20 inches possible of rain. Really 16 in Florida area, but if you go up towards like the Tennessee and North Carolina border there, that is where you can see the most rain. The reason why there's not going to be a lot of rain towards like Knoxville, Nashville area, besides, that 4 to 6, well, really 2 to 4 inches of rain that's possible, is because when that storm rotates counterclockwise, wait, clockwise or counterclockwise? I don't remember. Sorry. I thought it was clockwise. Yeah, clockwise direction. No, that's counterclockwise. Northern hemisphere is counterclockwise. So, as that storm spins counterclockwise into the mountains there, it's going to act like, think about it as if you've seen the TikToks or, done it yourself, how you put water and then you have these little rubber things and you go over the window and it cleans the window, right? And it gets all the water off the window. That's kind of how the mountains are acting, as it's literally just grabbing all that moisture and just holding it there. And that's what's going to get you that, 20 inches of rain, or even 30 in some cases, but it's really going to be around 20. 16 to 20 inches is what I'm going to guess is where it can be. Keep in mind that also I did hear someone mention a little while ago that from Hurricane Frank or whatever, I don't remember, they're still recovering from that in the mountains because of how much rain they got and how much damage happened. So that will not fix it, unfortunately. I'm waiting for the noises to go away. Alright, sincere apologies for that. Anyway, so expect anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of rain from Hurricane Helene. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. It's 10 o'clock, so bear with me here. Anyway, I'm going to go run to our hurricane department here. I have a couple models I made today for information that we could be using. Anything. Alright, so this was as of 12 hours ago. This is where the storm was at. That's reached the new milestone. It got to 80 mile-an-hour winds. So that's when I made that new model. I believe I have a new model coming out here soon. If not, it's in the works of coming out. And that's kind of your graph here for how hurricanes are scaled. So, so our team does a low blow pressure emblem because they spin counterclockwise as well. And that's just a normal storm. Has 15 mile/hour winds or lower. All right, it's a storm that's out there and it's not causing any problems, disturbances, or anything like that. The X, like what you see the National Weather Service using for their points of interest, we use that as a tropical disturbance. It's something that we're watching and monitoring. Now, whenever there's a tropical storm, that means that it's a tropical storm to monitor, and turn into a tropical cyclone, which is from 39 to 73 mile/hour winds. Category 1, we'll use literally the category like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Category 1 has just the two little shark fin things looking things on them. Anyway, That is where the storm has reached a milestone of 74 mile per hour winds and can go from anywhere to 74 to 95 mile per hour winds. Category 2, the storm has reached the milestone of 96 mile per hour winds, which is 96 to 110 mile per hour winds sustained. Keep that in mind. They categorize the hurricane as sustained winds, so that means a consistent wind. It's not like here in Illinois where we have, a random burst about 65 mile per hour and then a couple more. It'll be sustained for a minute at like 60, go down to 50, and then it's gone. That's not how this is. So now, after the Cat 2, you guys are now in the major hurricane emblem, which will be an M on the National Weather Service's their actual graphs there, or models, if you want to say. Category 3, the storm has reached a milestone of 111 mile per hour winds, 111 mile per hour to 129 mile per hour winds that is sustained, aka consistent. Category 4, which is where we're going to be at tomorrow, the storm has reached the milestone of 130 mile per hour winds, 130 to 156 mile per hour winds sustained. Category 5, which is a possibility for Hurricane Helene to be, not guaranteed. It more than likely is going to be around a 4. That's what we're thinking right now, but it could go to a 5. Depends on how strong it gets overnight and in tomorrow. The storm has reached the milestone of 157 mile per hour winds, and for a Category 5 has to be above 157 mile per hour winds that is sustained or consistent. So that is kind of your graph of how hurricanes are scaled, especially here. That's how we categorize them. But low pressure is 15 mile per hour winds or lower. Tropical disturbance has 38 mile per hour winds or lower. Well, 15 to 38, that's going to be how we categorize it. And then you have your 39, and that's when it gets into your Simpson sites on. Anyway, your normal hurricanes categories. We also have hurricane. We also have like your impacts. That disappeared. There we go. Anyway, we have hurricane. This is our graph that we made today. This is National Weather Service's actual thing that we had, and we put a couple of things in there. So we kind of fixed it today. Here's the impacts of Hurricane Helene. Flooding, obviously storm surge of 11 to 15 feet. That has now risen, to 15 to 20 feet of storm surge, that will be fixed, I believe, tomorrow morning at about 10 o'clock is when we release that model. Another one, high winds, wind gusts from 100 to 130 mile per hour winds possible, which, as I already mentioned, that the 130 is a Cat 4 hurricane that is sustained, by the way. Wind gusts can be up to 160 miles per hour, so now we're 30 mile per hour over the bottom tier of a Cat 4. The outer bands that we have tomorrow, which is from the storm itself, there's going to be some tornadoes involved, which is tornadoes are possible for the outer bands or on the outside of the main low pressure system. So that means like that surface low, that's where you see the eye of the storm, or literally looks like a little ball that's circling around. That's your surface low pressure. Keep in mind, this is some information about it that we have on here. Hurricane Helene is predicted to be a major hurricane and a Cat 3 hurricane, but may exceed to a Cat 4. State of emergency and hurricane warnings issued along with storm surge warnings. Winds will be sustained at 150 miles per hour in the area with the hurricane warning. Storm surge is expected to be from 11 to 15 feet high. Turn around, don't drown, stay away from beaches or bodies of water. Damage can be catastrophic. So that is kind of your highlights. We're going to be fixing a couple things like hurricane is at a 4 and may exceed to a Category 5. Sustained winds at 130 mile per hour. Gusts up to about 160, 130 to 160, obviously. The storm surge, which is going to be 15 to 20 feet now. So that's kind of what we're doing. Here is where it was at Tuesday. We were just barely into a tropical cyclone, or a tropical storm. We were, I think, at like 45 or 50 mile per hour winds, so that's why I barely put it in the neck tick there. Anyway, hurricane alert. Keep that in mind. We have a major hurricane that could be catastrophic, especially for Florida and in the Big Bend area by like Tallahassee, especially Tallahassee. All right. So I just want everyone to be aware about that. Here's kind of how Hurricane Helene has been looking like, according to 5 hours ago. But other than that, I have nothing for you elsewhere tonight. How long have we been live for? Well, besides the mainland area. Alright, we started 25 minutes ago. I'll try to wrap this up within 5 to 10 minutes. So, you probably are wondering, how is this going to impact Central Illinois at all? Or even, not even just Central Illinois, but like Illinois in general. So, as the storm makes it towards Georgia, Tennessee border, that's when it starts to get into that tropical storm area there. The mountains will be taking a lot of the moisture, but it will not be taking a lot of the rain with it. Obviously, that's what rain is moisture. But it didn't take all of it. As, you know, mountains have little peaks, and then they go down, up, down, up, down. Anyway, it's like a rake, pretty much. It's raking out the moisture, but as you can tell, sometimes if you rake leaves, sometimes the leaves are left behind. You have to go back for it again. Well, I can't do that, and it's literally just doing one pass. So that means it's eliminating about half of the moisture that it has. So that means that here in southern Illinois, it is potential that you guys can get to 2 inches to 4 inches of rain. So like St. Louis, you guys will be probably getting around 1 inch to 2 inches. Which is here, I'll give you guys a no weather model about the that stuff. Anyway, let me go back to Facebook here so I can get your guys' stuff here. Yeah. Whatever. Alright. Anyway, real quick, here is your 7-day outlook. Obviously, Saturday and Sunday, you have that 40 and 30% chance of rain. I think that could be bumped up to about a 60, to be honest, now. But that was according to this morning. Here's the next weather system. This is kind of how this will play out. This is Friday. We're into Saturday. So as you guys can see, it's still kind of rotating over there. You can kind of see how it's rotating like over here, and it's going to be giving us rain. I would probably say that Central Illinois can get up to 2 inches of rain. 1 to 2 inches is possible, just because it's going to be a light rain. But it's be a moderate to light. So don't expect too much. I have the chat back. Alright, so. Yep, we already got that covered. Got that covered. Got that covered. Already mentioned that. Alright. So here is kind of what Hurricane Helene will look like in terms of Central Illinois impacts. I selected the wrong area here. So you guys could see that lower pressure here. So you guys could see we'll probably get about 1 inch as possible. Let's see here. Precipitation, total precipitation accumulation. So as you guys can see over here that this is possible to get up to 13, 20, even 20 inches here within the course of the next few days. But I would probably say most of Illinois could probably get about 1 inch. Besides up toward like Davenport, Macomb, up towards like Juliet, Chicago maybe. You never know. But anyway, this is kind of your rainfall map. Obviously, it's not going to be too impactful for us, but let's see if we can get further out. Nope. But we may have another system coming through that will give us our next shot of severe weather, which is going to be October 8th/9th. But anyway, if you have any questions for me, please comment them, as if it really would be appreciated. Let's see here. obviously. So pretty much from Macon, Columbus, Ufula, all the way down towards like Panama City, Tallahassee, Tampa. You guys are in storm surge and hurricane warnings. Most, pretty much the entire state of Florida has some sort of tropical storm warning, hurricane warning, or storm surge warning. So, yeah. So we can't really pick up much of Hurricane Helene besides the outer bands here. So, anyway. We do have flood warnings that are in effect right now. Give me 1 second here. Just turn off all these. Alright, so here is your current warnings for the area right now. We have, hold on, let me see here. We have one, let me just go up here. We have 14 flash flood warnings? Yes, warnings. So down by Tallahassee, we have a radar indicated one. This is for pretty much flash flooding caused by heavy rain, obviously. We have a flash flooding observed. And this will be lasting until 11:45 p.m. tonight. It's just because of a heavy rain. This was reported by local law enforcement. This is probably going to be the same thing. 12:15 a.m. Macon, 2:30 a.m. So a lot of flash flooding already started, and the main of it hasn't even really started yet. So there's a lot to discuss here, but I just brought it down to the closest I could. This is going to be the last thing I'm showing you guys tonight. The darker the color, that means the higher the top of the storm is. And we have a very high top storm, and it's a well-defined storm. It looks beautiful for a hurricane. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention here. Hurricane John, that was out on the west coast along like San Jose, like Mexico area too. Earlier today, there's been a lot of not really discussing, but like evidence that there's Hurricane John that's in the Pacific is transferring its energy into the Atlantic and to the Gulf, Mexico area, and giving Helene more power. That is what's really messing with us right now, because the moisture from that hurricane, like I think it's a Cat 1 right now, is giving all the moisture it got into Helene, helping it intensify, along with the really warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. That's really making it stronger. But also, it was very hard to predict the strength because we first said a Cat 3. Then we noticed that was happening, raised it at Cat 4. Who knows how much more strength it will get from it. It could even go into a Cat 5. That's why we're so stressed about, okay, it was a Cat 3 at first. Now it's a Cat 5. Like, how is that going to work? So, we're gradually building it up. I bet you they'll probably issue a 5 closer inland. So, just be aware of that, guys. If you live in Florida, I would love for you guys to submit reports to us, as we greatly would appreciate it. Please send them on Messenger, aka Facebook, via either the National Hurricane Department, Velocity Masters Storm Prediction Centers, and Forecasting Center. But we prefer to either go to the Hurricane Department on Facebook or the Storm Reports and Aftermath Department that we have specifically for that. And we do submit your guys' reports. Like, we even report school shooters that we got a report of one time. So, anyway, that's enough yapping for the night. I hope you guys take care. Be safe. Tomorrow we will have a lot more information on Facebook. We will not be streaming tomorrow, but Thursday, once this makes landfall, we will go live. So, thank you for turning in, everyone. I appreciate it. Greatly appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, but also helps you guys give it the better information and the better streams for you guys. So, please like the stream. Helps get it out. Share with friends. Would be greatly appreciated. and subscribe. That's all I ask for you. Anyway, take care, be safe. I'm Jonathan, the founder of Velocity Masters Group. I would love to thank the National Weather Service along with the NOAA for giving us these models today and showing them on the internet. So take care, be safe. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.